All right, we are live. Welcome back to Stock Tricks with Nick for this week's Midweek Movers live stream. If you guys are new to the channel, I do this live stream either a Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how the week's shaking out. Typically on Wednesday, though. Today we'll be going over my watch list for the rest of the week. We got about 20 stocks, 18 stocks on that list. I have 12 stocks that I got from StockTwits and Twitter that you guys want to see. So after I run through my list of 18 quality setups that I'll be looking towards, we'll cover the stocks that you guys wanted to see on StockTwits. And then also, if you have any other trade ideas, drop them in the chat of this live stream because as long as we have time, we'll be going through as many charts as possible. If you are a first-time viewer, please subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the stream. Outside of the live stream during the week, I also do a trading recap on Friday, going through all the trades that I made, including the losing trades, which not a lot of people share their losers. I like to share losing trades or mistakes that I made, taking profits too early, stuff like that, because not only does that help me basically relive that experience, relive that mistake, but it helps you guys out too, because if I'm only showing you, hey, this is my big winner, this is all my winning trades, and trading is so easy, you're not really preparing yourself for when the trade starts working against you, and you always have to have an exit plan. So I try and share my winners, share the quality setups, the breakouts, all that stuff, but always share the mistakes that I make, because I'm human, I'm still learning, I'm making plenty of mistakes to share, and hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes and apply them to your own trading so you don't have to lose any money on them. So got that trading recap on Friday, and then also on Sunday mornings, I put out a breakout watch list similar to kind of the first part of this stream today, usually about 15 to 20 stocks with breakout potential throughout the week. And we've seen a lot of quality breakouts the past couple of weeks, so those are always good to tune into. If you're watching this live stream after it's all wrapped up, there will be timestamps in the comment section for any stocks that you guys are looking for. All right, so oh yeah, quick plug. Follow me on StockTwits. That's the place that I post the most. So if you want to interact, throw some trade ideas around, follow me there. TikTok, both of those are Stock Tricks with Nick. And then on Twitter, it's Stock Trick Nick. Quick disclaimer, anything that I talk about today is not financial advice. It's my personal opinion, all for educational purposes only. Anything or all trading holds financial risk. Please do your own due diligence. So we got the stock lineup for the day. For the breakout watch list, just wanted to point out any stocks that have the stars next to them, that doesn't mean they're the best type of setups. That just means that I currently have positions in those trades. So got list of 18 to cover here, some stocks that I got requested from you guys from StockTwits and Twitter that we'll be going over shortly. So if you don't see a stock on here that you would like me to cover, drop it in the live chat and we'll get to all of those. All right, let's jump to some charts. And I gotta switch the view here. And at any time, if you guys get value from this live stream, please leave a like on the video. That helps me out tremendously. That helps the YouTube algorithm push it out to more traders, which helps me out. So if I'm helping you guys, you guys can help me. All right, first one we have is ATEC, and I took a position in this yesterday with it's not a flat top break, but you see a couple trade flags here. Got shaken out on this long lower wick. What day is that? The 27th of November. That's another sign that you like to see before a breakout, is a long lower wick shaking out all of the people with too tight of stops. You like to see that when you're not already in the trade, because that stopped me out, and then look, just took off, rallied 40%. So that stuff happens when you're in the trade. Maybe you could put it on later on. I shifted money to a different trade, but probably should have kept it with this one. Since that large breakout, we had a nice undercut here, and then couple of days of sideways trading, and then we even pulled down under that low. So anyone who got in on kind of that rally up here or one of these sideways days probably has their stop. Let's see, it's a 6% stop. That's around average. So probably had their stop, excuse me, around the low of that day. When we undercut that, that shakes out a lot of the weaker hands. Picked up and rallied on a little bit increase of volume and had an inside day. Let's see, this is Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday. So on Friday, it was an inside day. Yesterday, we had higher highs, higher lows, and we broke over this kind of 2-day pivot point right here with the 2 daily highs there. So I bought when it broke over the high from Friday. No, Thursday, sorry. Inside day Friday, low volume, broke over that. And then today we had a good follow through day, higher highs, higher lows, closed right at the high of the day. And then, but it still hasn't completely broken out. You can use the all-time high here. That would be 1496. Maybe you wait till a break of 15 to get going on that. One thing that you always want to check is the volume on the breakout. If you have a stock that's going over a pivot point or what you notice is going to be an area where a lot of people are looking to buy the stock and not a lot of volume comes in with that breakout, you're more likely that the stock is going to pull back and check back maybe to the 8-day, 20-day moving average before setting up again. Now, that's not an absolute. There's no absolutes in trading. But we're always just trying to add probability to our side and then take the trade. So if you see large volume coming in early in the day and then we break over that pivot point with, again, another 5-10 minute period with high volume, that's a great sign that it's going to be a stronger breakout. So that's ATEC 1496. The high from the 28th would be another possible add spot. Next, we have CLNE. This is a trade that I took today. Really strong action here. Definitely a high type flag, 150% up. What is that? 21% back. So high type flags, 90% or more in 8 weeks or less, and then a pullback within 25% of the highs. So qualifies for that. Some pullback to the 8-day exponential moving average. Never could close underneath, so that's a great sign. Even in the short term, traders are buying this up. Volume doing all the right things on this. High volume on the way out, low volume as it pulls back to the 8-day, high volume on the way out, lower volume as it flags out here. So I bought with the break over the high from, that would be Friday at 10:15, and it already got out a little bit, but now it is could form a second pivot here. If we just take out the high from today, that would be buyable. 10.99 is the high, so flat $11. That works. Maybe ideally for people not already in the trade, we get one sideways day of action on lower volume, so get less price disagreement. So have everyone kind of agree that it should be around here, and then a big buyer steps in and breaks it over that pivot point. For me, already in the trade, I just hope it takes off tomorrow, but we'll see how that goes. Looks really good. Good volume coming over the pivot buy point that I got in at. CLNE. Next, we have FEYE, and this was a trade that didn't quite work out. You can see I have a couple buy and sell flags. First one I got stopped out, full stop at. This is also a high type flag. I think it's just about one. Yeah, 93% up, 18% back. So not a lot of people are trying to get out of the name. So it moved up all that much on tons of volume, and then everything gets nice and quiet. Look at the volume, nice and quiet volume as it flags out. Took the trade, the first one on the 13th, got stopped out that day as it took out the previous day's low. So that was just a sign it needs more time to set up. Pulled down to the 20-day simple moving average, had an inside day. Let's see. Now, technically lower lows, lower highs, but very close to an inside day. Not much going on Tuesday. And then today we broke over the high from Friday. That was my buy point. Got in at, let's see here. It's going to tell me 22.92, and just squatted a little bit. Was forming kind of a red hammer here, where on a day where I don't have much exposure, maybe I leave this on, but I just took the trade off, down 2%. have it on my watch list and looking to buy back if it breaks over the high of today, 23.26. But one thing that I'm trying to do in 2021 is not hold a loser overnight. So I want to be getting in exactly when stocks break out. And if they don't prove themselves to me, at least lighten up some exposure, take half the position size off, because you can always add it back on. Um, but I only want to be putting money into the market as a swing trader. I only want to be putting money into the market if things are immediately working for me. Otherwise, there's no risk when it's cash, and I'm always trading risk first. First, so that was my play with this. But on the outside now, break over 23.26 is buyable there. I don't love that we had heavier selling volume down to the 20-day than the last 2 days of, I guess, slightly green days, but that's still very light compared to the breakout volume. So if a big buyer steps in, breaks it over 23.26, that's fine, and I would take that trade again. That's FEYE. Next we have FUBO. This guy, obviously very strong move through here, 120 something percent, 125% up. Then pulled back a very large amount, 63%. Usually I don't trade stocks that pull back over 40%, over 50% from their highs. But this is showing some resilience around the 50-day simple moving average. So, and I know a lot of people wanted to see this, so I think it's worth having it on a watch list. But if it doesn't fit your trading style, don't take it. I am not likely to take this trade, but still could work, because notice it pulls back. That's heavier volume for the pullback, so you don't love that. That's definitely a strike against the chart. But the one rebound day came on higher volume. Then things got nice and quiet as it just kind of traded along the 50-day simple moving average. That's this red line. And then jumped up 25, 30%, something like that. Yeah, 34% on tons of volume, then pulled right back down as volume decreased. And then today had an inside day on the lightest volume during the pullback. So that's definitely what you like to see during a pullback. Volume gets lighter and lighter and lighter. Less traders are trying to get out of this at this point, and they see this found support at the 50-day last time. Maybe it finds it again. Another big buyer steps in. So a break over Tuesday's high, 32.50, could be a possible buy point for that. It's FUBO. Next we have LAZR. This is a trade that I got stopped out of slightly down, I think like 2% or so. Perfect kind of flag formation here, but I think it was kind of too perfect where everyone was looking for the breakout. So we got a kind of fake breakout where it was just momentum buyers or momentum traders, breakout buyers, whatever you want to call it, but not institutions with this, because it got out and then just squatted on that day. I was still up maybe 2% or so with the trade, so left it overnight, got stopped out the next day as we undercut the daily low there. But I mean, doing all the right things volume wise, very strong move. I can't even measure it. 350% move on tons of volume on the way up. And then each pullback came tighter and tighter and tighter. But look at the volume on the way out versus the way back. So lots of buyers, very few sellers. We undercut the previous low through here. So that low got undercut there. Anyone who had stops right around there got stopped out, myself included. And then today we were up 8.5% on another really good volume day. So you can play this a couple ways. Because it closed just under the 20-day simple moving average, I think if I trade this, I'm looking at a break over today's high of 33.74 as a possible buy point. But you could wait to get over 35.75. If you do, then you're over this volume shelf here where a lot of people bought or exchanged hands in this zone. So if we rally after being down, I don't know, 20% or so on the trade, if we rally up to a point where traders can take the trade off break even, they're more likely to do that. So you're likely to see selling resistance into volume shelves like that, which is exactly what happened on the 13th, which probably should have taken some of the position off, but I mean, this volume with this kind of power, I wanted to play it for a longer play if it got going. But just because I got stopped out, I'm not turning my back on the trade. This is setting up again and could really take off here. So looking at 33.74, at least that's where one of my alerts are going to be. That's LAZR. Next we have LI. This one, very strong move. Let's see. Yeah, 170% up, but then did pull back 44%. So once you pull back over 25%, break that high tight flag standard. Usually you need, I don't know, 6 to 10 weeks, depending on the setup. But usually the first kind of rally gets sold off because there's more more resistance higher. So that first kind of rally usually gets sold off. You see this one got sold off, but it's now starting to tighten up in this range. And today, I guess today could have been a buy point, and then it just kind of squatted a little bit. But volume's doing all the right thing as it's kind of taking off here. So break over today's high, 37.65. That could be buyable. Lots of like, look at how during this pullback, everything got nice and quiet volume wise, and then a big buyer stepped in, kind of got over its skis. Big buyer steps in, pulls back, more good volume. And with this one, compared to LAZR, this is over the main volume shelf. So yes, there are some people probably trapped up here, but it's far less than the main chunk of volume. So definitely one to watch for. All right, let's see. LI. Next we have LSPD. This is another one that I've traded previously. Should have put it back on with this pivot, but kind of checked back, maybe would have stopped me out anyway. But really strong move on tons of volume on the way out. Ideally, you would have liked to see this type of volume on the previous day when it actually moves over the pivot point, where this could be more selling. But with this kind of candle, red hammer outside of the upper Bollinger Band, typically that's followed by another pullback day, which is exactly what we got on Friday. Growth stocks were selling off Thursday, Friday, so that is in line with what the market did. But closed right at the 8-day exponential moving average, so not bad there. Then is this double inside days? Let me check. 73, 80, 74, 25. Yeah, so double inside days. Less disagreement over price. Things are getting nice and tight through here. Volume doing the right thing, lightening up. Look at that volume today, lightest that it has been. ATR will probably need some days to tighten up, but I don't know if it'll wait for that. So ideally, with this kind of move, we get a check under the two previous lows here. So any super tight stops get shaken out. Maybe we puncture the 8-day exponential moving average, get any stops out at that metric, and then we reclaim the daily high. That would be my buy point if we can undercut the 8-day exponential and then recapture today's high 73.69. That's my buy point for that situation. Otherwise, I'd probably look at 74.25, the high from Tuesday, as a possible buy point. LSPD. I'm not ignoring all your guys' comments. I see them. I'll get to those in a little bit. MDXG, another one that I tried with just a break over the top here. Got stopped out the next day. Or maybe I took that. No, I probably took that a little bit lower. Let's see. 936. Where's 936? Oh, yeah, I caught it around the base, right at that pivot. Got some off into strength, sold the rest a little bit better than my entry. So that was a profitable trade, even though it immediately reversed on me. So that's one thing that I like to do. Once we get up 8 to 10%, take some of the position off, move at least half my stop to my entry. So then I'm outside of gap down risk. I'm basically guaranteeing a winning trade. And the quicker I can take the initial risk or the initial capital risk off by moving my stop to my entry, the more positions I can open and increase my exposure in the market while keeping the actual at-risk dollars the same. So that works really well if you're seeing breakout after breakout after breakout and you're trying to, and you want to catch more of the names, but as a trader, you want as little risk as possible, right? So um, when you do that, when you move your stop to your entry, you're more likely to get shaken out on a trade that's just checking back before going. But if you could do that and open up 3 more positions with the same amount of risk, even if you could check back on one of them, 2 of them go, and that makes your week. So that was my plan with this. Since then, you got that nice downward to the right drift. It tried to break out on Friday, it looks like. Got stopped right at the 20-day simple moving average and then pulled lower. Then we got double inside day as volume. Volume today was extremely light on this. It's a lighter traded name anyway, but very, very light. So I would just be looking for a break over Friday's high of 935. That'll get you over the 20-day simple moving average as well, and the main part of this volume shelf. So break over 935 is the area I'm looking for. Next we have NIO. This one kills me because it stopped me out. This is one where I moved my stop to my entry to open up more positions, got checked back on this one, and just before it ran, what, 23%. So that happens. A couple of the other trades worked really well, so that's fine. But you got to stick to your risk management. Since that strong breakout, you got a red candle close outside of an extended upper Bollinger Band. Typically, those are followed by pullback days, which you got 3 or 4 here. Undercut the 8-day exponential moving average. Inside day on Tuesday. Opened higher today and then kind of pulled back. And now we have a nice kind of 3-day pivot point through here with the highs. Let's see here. 60.22, 60.09. So break over 60.22 could be buyable. Notice the volume lighter on those pullbacks compared to the breakouts. Exactly what you're looking for. Ideally, we have a couple more days where average true range comes in. If this can tighten up and get that more downward right motion, the better. NIO. Next we have NNOX. NNOX, come on. There we go. Another one that I have a position in. This was kind of forming basically a cup and cup handle. But every pullback getting tighter and tighter. We had this inside day on the 7th, and that set up my buy. It was a very low cheat. If you follow Mark Minervini, he talks about low cheats during the pullbacks. That was my low cheat buy. Got it right at 48.55, probably around there, 48.67. Broke out right when I bought it on good volume, so doing all the right things. Checked back and almost stopped me out, but found support right at the 20-day. Rallied higher, took some of that off into strength. And now this is just kind of trading sideways. Volume really light in the last couple days as it's closing above the 8-day exponential moving average the last couple days. So if a big buyer steps in, that could really shoot this up. I would probably wait for a break over yesterday's high, 55.02, or just a high from these 2 days you could do. It's not going to be perfect, but you get the point. 55.77, 55.87 could be viable there, but a nice long cup handle could be taken off soon. I do have my stop now at my entry for the rest, so this is a risk-free trade for the initial capital. Next we have NSCO. This one kind of tricky. Tons of volume on this long upper wick, and then it pulled all the way back. Kind of flagged out from there, undercut all the lows, which you like to see, but I mean, that gapped up. I don't like to buy gap ups, so that just kind of let that run. Pulled back, put in the first kind of pullback low, and then that you see got undercut there, maybe right around the same price. But is respecting the 20-day simple moving average as it comes through here, And then we got these, not technically a double inside day, but really some sideways action, staying above the 8-day exponential moving average. So I would be looking for a break over 765, the high from Friday, as a possible buy point. This was a, what kind of move is this? 93%, not a high tight flag because that pulled back. Oh, I guess technically 25%. Kind of a funky looking chart, but if it turns up and breaks over this pivot with volume, you treat it like anything else. That's NSCO. Next, we have a fan favorite, Palantir. This is one that I tried to trade through here, like really quickly. That flag breakout over the pivot through here. Got some off into strength the last couple days and then got stopped out of the rest. So basically broke even on that trade. This one I bought after hours and immediately sold it. Figured that's not my strategy. Let's stick to my strategy. So that was basically a zero trade as well. But squatted on Friday. Everything squatted on Friday or reversed on Friday. Inside day on Tuesday because we didn't trade Monday. Today, lower highs, lower lows, undercut the previous day's low and found support at both the 8-day and the 20-day simple moving average, 8-day exponential, 20-day simple, and little volume as this tightens up through here. So I would be looking for a break over 28 because if you go any earlier than that, there's still some volume shelf that you'd have to work through. Over 28, I didn't draw that perfectly, but you get the point. Over 28, much less resistance, and you see that was where it pulled back last time. So this has definitely been frustrating to trade, but I mean, usually the ones that all the eyes are on, like this is set up perfectly. Everyone's saying, oh, this is a perfect setup. That's when the market pulls it back, undercuts the low. So you see the lows here. Undercut those lows, shakes everyone out, and then sets up later. So just because you've been shaken out of a trade 1, 2, 3 times doesn't mean it can't set up and go again. So it's that balance of not revenge trading a stock and also not letting your ego be hit because 4 letters in a ticker lost you some money. So try and not get emotionally attached to any stock. That's one thing in 2020 that I did really well was really kind of put my emotions aside and just trade the patterns, and I found that to be very helpful. So again, 28 break over that is where I'm watching. PRLD next. This was one of my big winners in 2020. This was an IPO high tight flag. Got in a couple days early, tightened up even more, and then just broke out 70 something percent. I sold probably most around 50% up, and then I had a couple more days where it took off without me. Pulled back all the way. Let's see, 53.77. My buy point was 51.95, so almost checked all the way back to where I would have bought, and that's why I moved my stop up, sell into strength because I don't want to give a 55% winner all the way to a 2% winner. Since then, pulled back and had high volume on the pullback, but the next day when it reversed, you saw big buying volume come in at the 50-day, more good volume on the way back up, kind of rallied and now tightening up for a possible pivot 26.75. That's the area. The last 2 days have held right at the 8-day exponential moving average. So now more short-term traders are starting to respect this. So we'll see if this can get going. PRLD. IAM, just your basic kind of cup and handle. I don't love this large red candle that's one strike against it, but rebounded the next day, and just you could draw almost a perfect diagonal down here as this cup handle forming up. Volume's doing the same thing. You kind of have that cup and handle forming. I'm not sure if it's O'Neill or David Ryan always talk about that, but your cup and handle that you see on the price, if you can also see that in the volume, that's exactly what you want to see. Let's see, because you don't want large price pullbacks. You want less pullback on the price showing not many traders are getting out, and that'll be reflected in volume as well. So if we can undercut some of these lows before taking out the high from today, that would be a good pullback buy. Otherwise, just a break over yesterday's high of 750, that could work just as well. SAIL, SAIL. This one, similar cup, handle, and now you have 3 daily highs right around the same price. Let's check this. 59.62, 59.58, 59.57. I mean, not much more you could say about that. Moving averages are in the right order. 200-day 50.28, doing all the right things. So this is just your classic cup and handle strategy. 3 more for you guys. Step. This is one. I don't think it was a high type flag. I think it was just short. Yeah, 64% up. We had the first kind of pullback, 12%. We undercut that later, 16%. Respecting that 20-day simple moving average really well. Never closed under that. Since we rallied back over the 8-day, now that kind of serves as support. And looked like it was breaking out today, but then squatted a little bit. And did so on heavier volume. Maybe it needs a couple days to trade sideways and then it breaks. That would be actually ideal, but just a break over today's high, 39.21 is a possible buy point. All right, we got TENB, TENB. This is one that I got in yesterday. Got in with a pretty large position. Short of a high type flag, 71% up. First initial pullback was 12%. That second one undercut the previous low, 13%. So still a really tight pullback through here. Kind of made the cup, handled out on the short term. And then I bought, let's see, what was my buy? 55.35. Yeah, so I just got filled kind of through here. After it broke out, it was up 8, I want to say 8% or so. And then when it did that, I wanted to take some risk off. So I moved half my stop to my entry point, because if something goes up 8% and checks all the way back on the same day, not as confident with that being a huge runner. So I did get stopped out of half my position, but it was right at my entry. So got a risk-free look at half the position. So now I'm sitting with a half size position, higher highs, higher lows today, lower volume, while it still closed in the upper half. It closed in the upper half, basically stayed in the upper half of yesterday's candle. So moving fine today. Basically, I want to say this was like only $100 loss or so, because I played it similar to the others where I added, it got out. Sold, well, this first play, that was a losing trade. And then the second one, when I added more back into it, trying to remember, I got stopped out half there, added it right back in as we broke over the day's high, sold some into strength, and then protected my entry on it. So this is a way where you can kind of put a lot of size on the trade, and then again, just move your stop up. You might get shaken out, but you have no idea how long a pullback's going to last, especially on these growth names and pharmaceutical, biotech. You're not sure exactly what's going to happen there. So this is one that I've traded around, but since it pulled back, it's now undercut all those lows, shaking out everyone that was in the trade, including myself. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, both inside days, lightest volume that we've seen today. So this could be setting up again just a little bit lower, kind of like APPN did that we've covered in past videos. So I would just be looking for, it's tough. Break over Friday's high, 51.54 might be where you put your kind of initial buy point in. That would be over the 8-day exponential moving average. And then if you want to get over the 20-day, Thursday's high, 53.80 could be another buy point. All right, so those are let me go back to this. That's the breakout watch list from my names, from the stocks that I was looking at. Let's jump back to the chart and see what you guys want to see. We'll just go WBA. All right, so one thing that I'm always looking for in the stocks that I'm trading is I want the 200-day to be in an uptrend for over 1 month. That's one of Mark Minervini's filters for a trade. That just shows that typically there's not going to be as much overhead with the trade. Like I said earlier, if there's overhead, like this volume shelf here, if we rally up to this point, a lot of traders have been trapped in this area and they exchanged hands in this kind of base through here, maybe through here. So if it rallies just 13, 14%, you might see some selling pressure into that. So I try to avoid stocks with any overhead. Stocks that are making all-time highs, that's the ideal situation, but definitely want the 200-day to be in an uptrend for more than a month in any stock that I trade. So that's going to be a no for me, but I mean, it still could work. It just doesn't fit my strategy. So I'll do like one from the chat and then one from the list, so I get to everyone. ACTG, this is one. Tons of good volume coming in here. 200 days now in an uptrend. I think this is still short of a high type. Maybe I could go back. Let's see. How many days is this? 57 bars. That's 10 weeks. No. So 73% needs a couple more days for a high type flag to possibly form. You're not buying at these prices, but good volume on the way out. Let's give this another couple day or two to keep breaking out, then flag out, and maybe set up for another breakout. But yeah, I'm never trading. I'm never buying an initial position when a stock's extended more than like 5% over the breakout point. Ideally, if you miss it on the breakout, you just set an alert for if it comes back, and never chase those stocks. There's always going to be the next setup. I put these breakout watch lists out every week, and a lot of the stocks are hitting. So I'm never chasing a stock. XL, good volume on the way out. Really strong pullback. Let's see. Let's measure that. First pullback was 43%. Now we're undercutting that. Don't like that. Look at this the volume shelf all throughout here, because all the volume came on the way out. Not as much on the way back. That's good, but yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to trade like a quick breakout from here, because typically with pullbacks of more than 25%, you gotta let it base out for at least 6 weeks. This has been 4 weeks. So no, I took away. So got to give that some more time. Sorry, I took away the Bollinger Bands. Got to put those back on really quick. There we go. That's XL. Let's give that a little bit more time to set up. Next we have AHCO. Weird candle on here down to the 50-day, then popped right back up. Figure that has to be something with news. I haven't been following this one for a while, so you guys gotta do some own research on what caused that, but kind of ignoring that, or I mean, even taking that into account, that stopped out anyone who got in after that breakout. That's a terrible line, but you get the point. Then it's tightened up really well now. Volume doing the right thing. Look, average true range. Relative strength's fine. I'd have to do some research on what caused that drop, but just looking at 39.39 as a possible buy point. This is just drifting higher, which it's hard to buy a breakout that just drifts higher until we come over like a previous high. So that's where I would be watching this stock. Let's go CRSR. This is one I got stopped out of last week. Break even on the name. Was looking great. Tons of volume on the way out. All good things. Sold some into strength. Got stopped out of half right at my entry. The other half, so to make it a break even. Again, risk-free look at it basically. And then we got two more days of pullback. I think they did a secondary offering today. Not 100% sure, but I thought I saw that yesterday. Now we're under the 50-day simple moving average. We're under the volume shelf. Volume picked up on the way down. this is going to need some more time to really set up. Maybe get over this before I try and trade it again. I have a personal rule not to trade any stocks that are under their 50-day simple moving average as well. So not too excited about that name. It was looking great, but I mean, something that can look great, it could be the perfect setup, but once it violates your risk management, you got to stick to your stops. BNGO. Yeah, so this is all over the place. It's been on my watch list just because it's probably been on everyone's watch list. But this has got to flag out, tighten up. Volume's got to come in. 125 million shares traded, and that's lower volume. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, could you trade a name like this and could it be extremely profitable? Yes, but if you're sticking to 3 to 7% stops on any of your entries, you're more likely to be shaken out just by a normal, like a healthy pullback if you get in anywhere here. So that's why I like those nice the flag, like high type flag, pullback, anywhere where you could see ATR coming in. This is the opposite of a tight range. See, average true range even getting wider. So we'll give this some time, tighten up, allow the 20-day to catch up a little bit. Still 87% above its 20-day moving average. So give that some time. Let's go workhorse. Yeah, this is one that's just it's got I haven't traded this since it was in here, but this was annoying to me, and then it broke out. One of the reasons why I don't turn my back on annoying stocks anymore because got broke out, stopped for even there, broke out, stopped, probably a small loss, broke out, stopped at even again, and then it finally ripped 90% or something, 70%. So don't turn your back on a stock that's frustrating you because it could just be the next time that big volume comes in and no sellers step in. But since then, man, strong pullback, lighter pullback. Today, it's after hours. I hate how E-Trade does that. So this was only down a little bit, and then after hours, it's down. That kind of messes up the chart. Sorry about that. Um, but still, I mean, just in its pullback right now, I wish this thing would like rally just a couple days and form a nice pivot, and maybe that would be viable later. But we'll see if this after hours sticks. It looks like bid ask is pretty similar, so maybe some news on that. I haven't seen the news, so not 100% sure. DLTH. I think I traded this. Yeah, you see, traded right at the high, got stopped out, and then because I listened to my stop, I avoided all of this, which sometimes you get stopped out and it just goes on you and you get really mad. We'll cover VUZI today. How I see someone said that made their day. That made me very angry, but happens. But this is the flip side where I listened to my stop and maybe it could have just broken out again, but by listening to my stop, I got I avoided a 35% pullback, which is inexcusable as a swing trader. So now we're still under the 50-day. Couldn't close over. We moved over, but couldn't close over that. Couple of very light volume days, but I I don't trade stocks under their 50-day. We'll give that some time to move up over. Let's see, 12.95. So call it $13. There is a gap in volume here where if we get over 13, it could run relatively quickly because there's very little resistance through here. And that's a 20% move. So yeah, I have too much going already exposure wise, but if not, I would set an alert just 1290 and take a look at this name. Let's see, CRSR, ACB. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please leave a like. That helps me out tremendously. Yeah, 200-day just starting to flatten out. So if I zoom out, you see all the upward resistance there. Doesn't mean it can't work in your favor. I mean, this is probably like 200% move. Just doesn't fit my strategy. So I'm not saying my strategy is the best, but whatever your strategy is, really zoom in and just focus on that, because when I first started trading, I just kept on, they call it system jumping. You jump from one system to the next, to the next, to the next, because no system works 100% of the time. But instead of getting frustrated and leaving for another system that's hot right now and then has its pullback the second you start putting larger exposure on, just find what system works best for your personality and really do as much research into that system. For me, Mark Minervini's um, system works the best. These growth stocks that are strong, getting stronger, that has been the best 2-year trading of my life. Does go with the bull market, but I'm definitely more, I have a set plan now. So yeah, with this 200 days flat, not looking to trade it, even though it could, I mean, it's doing all the right things. It could work, but let's look for a different company in the same uh, area, like GRWG. This is one that I'm in, have been trading. Look at this, 200 days in an uptrend, 50 day, 20 day, 8 day, all doing the right things. So if something's, if a certain industry is really hot, always look for the strongest stocks in that industry, because those will have less resistance up top. All right, let's see, SIG, 200 days just starting to get going, getting a nice pullback here. Let's let this flag out for a little bit, but let's see, is this a high type flag? 60% up. Yeah, if you zoom out, we got some upward resistance. Yeah, if we can avoid it, avoid stocks with that larger resistance up top, but we'll see. Let's GEVO. Yeah, I mean, wild breakout here, 800%. But we got to let this flag out. Lots of volume on the day, down 21%, up 8% after hours. Yeah, I mean, this right here through here, that would have been buyable. You saw that tighten up, volume tightened up. ATR was basically flat, but with this kind of move, this was what, 200% move itself. Um, and then look, we undercut the previous low, took out the daily high, the previous day's high. That's what I'm looking for in one of those pullback buys. That would have been ideal, but I didn't trade it. It's GEVO, FSR. Still kind of carving out the IPO base here. I usually let things make a new, like a higher high and then pull back to go, because I have no idea how long this is going to flag down to the right before going. So, uh, I mean, one to keep your eye on. Let's see, what did this move up? 157% down, 40%. So yeah, I mean, good IPO base here, but let's let this work over 1648, then form a pivot. GMBL gamble. Esports, that's been hot. Good volume the last couple days, breaking out. IPO. Oh, this is one that I had on my watch list. Totally missed this move. So 103% up. Now forming a high type flag. If this can kind of flag out here, that would be ideal. But I mean, this could just keep ripping. Good volume the last couple days. If you're already in the stock, I mean, maybe you're protecting your entry lower for like a risk-free look at it, but maybe it flags out and then goes again. NEO, not to be mistaken with NIO, another hot sector. Uh, weird volume on this day. No idea what happened there, but then you had 3 daily highs get broken today. That was your pivot buy point right through there. So you had 55.25, 55.25. It's actually the same, 55.25. So that would have been the buy point. I mean, it could still just a break over the all-time high. That could be buyable too. Or if we check back and then take out the daily high, that could work. Doing the right things on volume, and probably a lot of this volume was shooting this back up to end the day higher. Interesting. All right, let's see. Yeah, let's go to VUZI. Oh man, this one, oh, killed me. I got stopped out by like maybe 6 cents. I got in with a break over 10. Where was it? No, where is it? 10:04. 10:04 was my buy point. Oh, it was the daily high. So 10:04 right here was my buy point. Or after it checked back, took it that out 10:04 right here, and then within 25 minutes, I had a 5% stop on it, so 950. Low of the day after that pullback, 945, literally 5 cents. That happens, and then just traded sideways down. I mean, at that point, I wasn't mad that I got stopped out. That was just normal risk control. And then huge buying volume there, shot it right back up. Formed another handle. This could have been tradable, like to get back in. I just wasn't looking at it. Probably should have kept it on my screen, but I didn't notice it during this area. But that I'm kicking myself because that's another good setup. That's where you don't turn your back on it just because you got stopped out. Because even from that area, it rallied up 12%. Now we're up 7% after hours, doing all the right things. Let's jump back to the daily chart. That's gorgeous. That's everything you're looking for in a chart. So upset at myself for not getting back in the trade. Not upset with the stop because 5%. That's not that's a reasonable stop. I'm never going to be mad that it said that I lost connection there for a second. Can you guys just drop in the chat if we're still connected? All right, RMO, yeah, IPO. It looks like 50-day simple moving average creeping up, 275% up, pulled back 53%. Again, let me know in the chat if we're still live. I think we are, but 53% back, tightening up, kind of looking like FUBO really. Good volume on the way back out, but can't close over the 20-day simple moving average. So now that kind of becomes the area that I'm watching. Let's get a close over the 20-day before we try and trade this because there's a big volume shelf here that we rally up 13%. We're going to be rallying right into possible sellers. So that's RMO. Let's see what else you guys want to see. What books or information? So the best book for a new trader is How I Made $2 Million in the Stock Market by Nicholas Darvis. Great book, goes through all the mistakes that any beginning trader makes. Reading this, I read it this year for the first time, and after trading as basically a beginner for 5 years, I was like, oh, I did that, and that. Skip all those beginner mistakes, read that book, take notes. That one's great. And then I always recommend Mark Minervini's Think and Trade Like a Champion. Great book. That one really changed my like um, technical strategy for trading. Let's see. LAZR FUV. Yeah, FUB I bought today. We're live. We can hear you. Good. Yeah, so FUV, that was one that was pulling back through here, broke out, checked back in, undercut the lows by like a cent. Let's see. The low this day, 1268. The low here, 1258. So 10 cents, less than a percent under that to pull everyone out, stop everyone out after what was a 34% rally. So, I mean, that's hard. You definitely probably stick your stop at your entry. Since then, we got a very strong breakout that I completely missed, 52%. But then we pulled back on much, much lighter volume inside day yesterday, and then we made the turn today on heavier volume. This is one that Leif Sereda put on his trading, and part of the reason I took the trade myself. and looks really good today. Tons of volume coming out, making the turn. We can get another follow through day and break over 1925, the previous high through here. That would just give me more confirmation in the move. But looks really good right now. Can you double QS? See QS. Man, 64% down. Like I said with FUBO, I don't like to trade stocks that are more than 40% off their highs. I was tempted to with FUBO, but 60% is too much for me. There's just, I mean, even with this one, you rally up 30%, there's going to be a volume shelf. Like if you're looking for the gap here, this is probably going to rally, pull back a couple times before we actually shoot over that. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but typically on these strong pullbacks, it bases out before actually going again. All right, let's do TRMB. Why am I? Oh, I'm on 3-month. Weird volume last couple days. That's a ton of volume coming in without much movement. Respected the 20-day, you like to see that. Average true range just going nuts though. As a breakout trader, you want the average true range to get as tight as possible. You want the price to get as tight as possible and volume to get as tight as possible because that's showing all the different types of duration traders are done disagreeing over price. It creates that illiquidity with volume, with price, and then when a big buyer steps in, that'll shoot it up very quickly. But on the flip side, if a big seller comes in, that'll shoot it down just as quickly. So that's why we always use stops. And if it works out for us, it works out more than one time our risk. If it doesn't, that's only one time your risk on a stop. So got to give this more room to tighten up. Average true range and volume's not doing exactly what you like to see. Could be because it's getting accumulated now, but why is that not pushing the price up even more? So someone's selling and those shares that are buying. So there's disagreement. Next we have Tesla, TSLA. Man, this one just strong, and then it starts flagging out without completely pulling back. Hasn't even tested the 20-day, kind of, or the 8-day. Not even close to the 20-day still. That's still, let's see, 12% up on that. So really strong action through here. It looks like it could break out again. I'm probably not going to trade this name just because, yeah, 13% to the 20-day, 27 to the 50-day. I mean, it doesn't mean it can't work, but it is getting extended here. But I mean, this is not a sign of weakness. This is strength. But I mean, every base that you buy higher and higher up, you're more likely to be catching the top. It's TSLA. Let's see, SCIQ. Oh, Dan, I see your Z. This was on my watch list today. Didn't take it personally, but low of the day, right on the 8-day exponential moving average, then rallied back over what would have been a pivot buy, closed above that too. So, I mean, looking good if you got in on this pullback. Maybe we flag out here and then just take out the high as a possible buy point later, but all good things. Relative strength just continues to get stronger. Let's go Zillow. So this is higher highs, higher lows, good move on today. I mean, doing all the right things. I took JOE instead. This was on the breakout watch list that I posted on Monday. I took the trade last week, just over a very tight pivot through there, and just traded sideways. Almost stopped me out on Friday. Looked good yesterday, and then we got, I think Minervini put this on his list as well. I know Leif put it on his. So a couple of different groups buying this up today. Good volume on the way out. And that's just okay. What are the strongest stocks in the strong sectors? JOE Joe. This was flagging out a little bit better than Z was, but maybe you were already in Z and you're just happy that it's getting stronger, which, I mean, this has been a monster in 2020 and 2021, so not a bad stock to own. Let's see. WBA, ACTG, yeah, I covered that one. XPEV, really strong action up through here, 287%. What was this first pullback? 42% undercut that, 49%. So you do like the second pullback to undercut the first, giving basically all the short-term traders a reason to actually sell out. And then it sets up the trade. Got some now. Before during the pullback, you saw the bigger volume days be on selling, and then now it's kind of flipped now that we've based out, and the bigger volume days is now on breaking out, which is great. Today looked like it was really starting to go, and then pulled back again. Maybe needs some time, or just takes off. But if I was gonna try and trade this stock for the first time, like I don't have a position because I don't, I would let this kind of flag out a little bit more, tighten up, or it goes without me. It's XPEV. Next we have YALA. This is one that I traded on this pullback wick because I totally missed this. Nice lower pivot through here, but thankfully it checked back, and then I took it when it recaptured the 20-day. Rallied back up, sold into strength, and then got stopped out of the rest on Friday right at my entry. So slightly profitable trade. Today looked great. Yesterday looked good. We undercut that low and then rallied back, reclaimed the 8-day. Today, higher highs, higher lows, low of the day right on the 8-day. And now it's kind of looking like an inverse head and shoulders there. So you got the left shoulder, the head, now the right shoulder. So if we could just break out over let's see, 1947, the high from the 13th, that would be possibly a good buy point. All right, what else did you guys talk about? DLTH, the stock is going to get shot down right quick. Yeah, we already went over LAZR, LAZR. I think it has good potential, 8% up today. I got stopped out of this previously, but a break over today's high 33.74 is possibly viable, or a break over the 13th 35.75. At that point, you're over that volume shelf here, so less resistance if we can get over that price. All right, ZM, we'll wrap it up with this guy, Zoom. So again, stock, don't trade stocks under their 50-day. Rallied back up here, sold off, rallied. Now we got, for the first time, volumes now shifting back, and we're seeing a lot of volume come in on the way up versus on the way down. So that's a good change to see, but we still can't close over the 50-day simple moving average. So we're right at this volume shelf here. So maybe if we can get over that and over like 425 area, then you have this gap in the volume shelves, 10% move, but yeah, I just don't like trading stocks under their 50-day because you're usually hit with so much resistance when it tries to rally. But I mean, today sold off 3%. That's not bad, and did so on very light volume. So this could be a change of characteristic after it's now pulled down all the way. Volume's doing the right thing, but just one of my rules. All right, so that is going to be the live stream. Please, if you enjoyed it, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, Stock Tricks with Nick. I think we're very close to 3,000 subs. I think we're at 2,970, so maybe after this could refresh the page, be at 3,000. Give me a follow on StockTwits, TikTok, and Twitter, and I'll see you Friday for the trading recap.